supposed to be a mimosa, but I'm out of orange juice, so it's just fancy. So if you watched my last vlog, I did a couple of things. I had a radio interview, I did a roundtable discussion at a co-working space, and my brother shadowed me for the day, and when we were done, he was like, Amy, you're killing it. And I was just like, oh, well, okay, why? And he's like, well, just every time someone asked you a question, you just knew what you were talking about all the time, you weren't nervous, and you're just killing it. And I'm just like, oh. It's so funny what happens, I think, when you increase your confidence simply by doing what you do and practicing it and not even noticing how much your confidence has increased. So I thought, because I do have a background of I'm an introvert, you know, I definitely wasn't the popular kid in school. I overthink what people are thinking about a lot of the time. I thought it made sense for it to come from me on, if you're dealing with this issue, how to be confident. Because I can definitely sit here and think about times where I was not even close. Always afraid to speak up, definitely did not want to be around people I didn't know, just the confidence level was not there. And I'm not saying that I'm confident all the time, because I'm definitely not. I'm still an introvert at heart. I'm still uncomfortable in a lot of scenarios, but at the same time, I can go into it with confidence because of a few things. So I actually have a list of 10 things I'm gonna share with you about how to be confident, things that worked for me, and hopefully you can try as well. If you're new here, cheers to you. Please make sure you subscribe for good vibes, because I make new videos every week. Let's roll into this one. First, you need to just know your stuff. I don't think I would be at this place right now if I didn't feel very confident about what I do and how much I know about it. I've never stopped educating myself. I always attend events and listen to other people who have more experience than me and continue to grow in what I do. I think part of the reason why I feel confident in the scenarios I put myself in is because it has a lot to do with my line of work and things that I know about. I'm not gonna be as confident in going to a place that I don't know anything about, that has to do with things I've not educated myself on. I can still be confident in those places, but I'm gonna be more confident in the fact that I don't know what I'm doing there, and I'm okay with that. But when it comes to what I do, being a speaker, meeting people who want advice from me, I'm confident with them because I know my stuff. I've been in the trenches. I do all of this stuff all the time, and I will always have an answer for somebody who asks me a question. So just know your stuff. I mean, it's that simple. Don't just coast on theoretical information. Just do it and learn it yourself so that you can really speak from experience, because that's a ton of confidence right there. That's gotta be at least 50%. Number two, I would say be intentional. Now, basically what this means to me is, as an introvert, I like to choose my words fairly carefully. I don't like to speak up unless I know what I'm about to say. I might think about it a little bit before I say something. It just sort of depends on the speed of the conversation and how much I know about what we're talking about, but I'm very intentional with what I say. I don't like to waste people's time with things that don't matter or talking about other people who may or may not matter in that scenario. I'm very intentional with what I say when I'm in a situation where maybe I'm meeting someone for the first time or I'm trying to give somebody guidance. Because the more you talk and just fill space, I feel like just makes you look less confident and more uncomfortable. I would rather the words that I choose to spend on a person during the time we have together be because of a reason and something that they've motivated me to say, but I've put some thought into. I think I just mean this to come from a place of, don't think that you have to fill time by coming up with absolutely anything. I think this is where gossip starts. People just don't know what else to talk about. Be intentional about what you're talking about. Number three, the clipboard test. I love this one, okay? Just think about this. Just imagine this in your mind. When someone walks into a room and they're holding a clipboard with their head held high and a steady stride, you don't even question that person. The clipboard test says that person belongs here somewhere. We're not gonna mess with that. I want you to have your own version of what that means. What does the clipboard test mean to you? Because I don't recommend carrying around a clipboard. I don't even think I have one as a prop. Wherever you go, whatever you're doing, stand tall, look straight ahead, and walk with intention and act like you're supposed to be somewhere. The more you're timid about walking into a room, you know, wallflowering everywhere you go, or just like not feeling like you should be there, so acting like it, the more likely you're not going to come off confident, and it's not even in your own head anymore. It's going to be other people noticing it as well. So just imagine that everywhere you go, you're holding that clipboard and you belong there and that no one's going to question you. Imaginary clipboard, just act like you belong. And you know what? You will very quickly. Number 4, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Some of the most confident people I know, some of the strongest people I know are people that will look you dead in the eye when you ask them a question they don't know the answer to, and they're gonna be like, you know what? I don't know. The fact that they say that and they don't pretend like they know what's going on or try to coast their way through a conversation is a really great way to just let someone know, I don't know. Why don't you enlighten me? Because that's actually you giving somebody else an opportunity to educate you, which is a huge chance for them to boost their confidence. So boost your own confidence by just being clear about the fact that you don't know something when you don't, and then let them do you a favor by teaching you something. It's so easy to think that that's the hard route, but I would much rather take advantage of the fact that somebody wants to talk to me about something, and if I don't know something about it, they can tell me. I love to say, I don't know. Why don't I have any orange juice? I don't know. Number 5, remember that people are just people. Like I said before, if you say I don't know, they might say to you, oh, let me tell you, because they might be thinking, I'm so nervous, I'm not confident, this person probably thinks I'm crazy, while you're thinking the same thing. Everyone is just people. Not anyone is hiding underneath normal clothes as Superman. I know that they teach you that in the comic books if you read comic books, but no one is actually sitting there going, haha, I'm Superman, all you unconfident people. Literally no one. People are just people. They're going to feel out of place and uncomfortable and weird sometimes, just like you are. So do not think that you're less than anyone else, and do not put anyone else on a pedestal. Number 6, if you're trying to grow your confidence because you need to ask someone for something, the worst thing you could do is be unclear about what you want. Sometimes it feels like the easier way to be wishy-washy about what you're asking for so it can sound nicer, and even though you're not confident, it sounds like you're the nice person and you just want them to say the word yes so that you can be done asking them. But sometimes we don't make it really clear what we're asking for because we're just trying to get through the conversation. And that is the worst thing you could do. If you don't get a clear green light on what you're asking someone to help you with or to give you advice in, then you know what? You really aren't any further along than when you presented that uncomfortable question in the first place. A lot of people that have this problem are beginners in sales, and certainly I've been in that place as well. If I'm asking for the sale, then I need to be very clear about what that means. You know, what are they buying? How are they buying it? And how much does it cost? If you're wishy-washy about that, you're gonna find yourself down the road with them going, I didn't know I signed up for that because you didn't say that. And that's the last place you want to be. That is worse than asking the question in the first place. So if you want to be confident when you're asking for something, just ask it. The worst thing that could happen is they say no to something that you want a yes to, and you were probably already bracing for that because you were not confident going into the question. So imagine it happens, and imagine what you'll do or the question you'll ask when they say no. But what if they say yes because you were clear? Then also decide what's the next step after that, so that if you're kind of freaking out in your brain when you finally get your answer, you know what to do as a backup while you're still kind of like freaking out inside. Number 7, and this does not mean to do something out of the ordinary, but it is something I truly believe in. Dress the part. You know, they say people that have brand new snappy workout clothes work out harder and more regularly at the gym. I personally think it's the same thing wherever you go. If you dress for the job you want and not the job you have, then you are going to be leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else. I may have just been a secretary at my old job, but I never ever took that lightly when it came to what I wore to work. Even if there was talk of a potential rare casual Friday, I actually knew that everybody that was a superior in the office hated casual Friday. So I never took advantage of casual Friday. I just wore my black slacks and heels and whatever else I had in my closet at that time that was professional and made it look like I cared about my work in order to present that when I got there. That's a lot of the battle for some people. I think confidence ends up setting in at the lack of it before you leave the house. So when you're just sort of in a state of, oh, screw everybody, I'm just gonna wear wearing my sweatshirt and crappy tennis shoes, and if they judge me, then they're not cool anyway, so I'm just gonna dress crappy because I am trying to be more confident, but I'm gonna be myself. And it's not about not being yourself. It really is. But you also need to recognize that sometimes we have to attend the party the way that people want us to so that we can stand out with our personality, and your personality doesn't always come through with a crappy sweatshirt. That's just my opinion. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. That's gonna boost your confidence. I know for a fact that when I leave the house with no makeup on and my crappiest clothes on, I am hiding from the world, especially if I'm going to the grocery store to get something that I needed desperately, like orange juice. But if I'm like, I don't want to hide from the world, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm at least going to wear jeans, boots, and a cute jacket just in case I run into somebody I know when I'm on a quick errand. If I need that confidence to be able to leave the house, then I don't see anything wrong with that. Number 8, do your research. If you don't think you're going to know somebody where you're going, then use the internet and find out some details about the people that are going to be at this place so that you can know who's at this event. This is great if you're gonna be going somewhere by yourself because you don't wanna be by yourself. You wanna meet people, you wanna get to know them, and be confident when you do know something so you can start a conversation with people, not in a stalking way, but in simply a, oh, I've heard about you way. And I think that's gonna open up a lot of doors, especially for those people on that list who may not be that confident. Number 9, be okay with making mistakes, such as the mistake I made by not replacing the battery of this camera and having it die in the middle of me recording a video. Mistakes happen. They suck. I hate them more than life. I wish I was perfect, but mistakes happen. So you absolutely have to be okay with it, no matter what scenario you're in. Be confident about the fact that you make a mistake. If it's something that you have to own up to, then own up to it. If it's something you have to laugh at yourself about, laugh at yourself. Because if other people are laughing, they might be laughing at you a little bit, but they mean well because they're just so happy that you're the one that made the mistake and not them because they are less confident than you. So be okay with it. Number 10, practice. I think this is so big. I say this about pretty much everything. You have to practice. But the biggest reason why I say this is because I am an extroverted introvert. I am absolutely an introvert at my core, but I do not leave the house and plan to meet people and use the fact that I'm an introvert as an excuse to not socialize, to not talk to people, to not be confident in that moment. I've done all these other things to help myself get a little bit ahead, but I'm absolutely going to show up and practice and have some uncomfortable conversations because other people don't know how to have normal conversations sometimes either. And I'm just going to own it. But if I don't practice that every day, if I don't take a bunch of phone calls, if I don't have small talk in the elevator, if I don't go to conferences where I don't know everyone, if I don't put myself in these situations where I have to practice, I'm not gonna get better. And I'm just gonna be an introvert that never leaves the house and tries to make things happen on the internet without actually meeting people, which is not realistic. It is not a way to grow as a person, as a business, as a brand, no matter what it is. So practice. You have to practice. It's super uncomfortable at first, but you'll get used to it. Because people are just people and they don't even really scare me that much anymore. Not even you. This is a bonus tip and I say it with the most sincerity. I think you guys saw this in a recent video I did that was called I Am Not Casey Neistat. This is all about being yourself. Be yourself. Do you. Don't be afraid of doing you because no one else is doing it. That's enough of a reason to be confident about it and to not be uncomfortable with it because you have to be yourself in order to stand out, and that's just the bottom line. Own it, get comfortable around that, and know that you're the only personality you're gonna need, and you need to just let everybody have it. Let them get to know you. And that is a ton of opportunity in growing your confidence right there. Simply the acceptance of you, who you are, and doing what it is you want to do. I really found this video to be important to me because so many of you reach out and say, I just don't think I can do what you do, or you're just so different and you're so lively and you just are so confident. And I have worked on it. And I really hope that these tips for you are not that fluffy because truly I feel they are actionable things that you can do to improve your confidence. And I totally recommend that because you only get one life. You get one life. So spending that time hiding from the world is so unfortunate. Because even if you don't want to do all the things in the world that people want you to do or people say that are cool, you don't have to do any of those things. You just need to do the things that make you happy. So don't allow your lack of confidence to hold you back from achieving those things. That is all I want for you. Go after the life you want and have the confidence to do it. That's all for today's socials. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you subscribe for good vibes. I see you doing it right now and I appreciate you for that. Make sure you like this video if you liked it, because you see how those two things have something in common. That tells me that we might have more chats like this again in the future, and I'd love to hear what you're thinking about that. Make sure you remember to go after the life you want. Cheers.
I'm giving you permission to be brave enough to talk, because you're not talking to a camera, you're talking to a person. That person needs to hear you. And the commentators, they're only as valuable as the time they're spending tearing other people down instead of building something of their own.